recording. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Bill Jordan here, reporting live from Newark, New Jersey with the Urbicon Studios. And today we have with us all the way from Austin, Texas, a wonderful guy named Benjamine Lester. Hi, Ben. How you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
You know, man, so you were saying before that you were sort of like thinking twice about signing up for this early call, right?
Oh, right. So, it's 7:50 here, and that is a little early for me at the moment.
You know,
which is important.
I have to confess, I thought this guy's really gung ho, man, because it's 9 o'clock my time. What time is he on? Because you guys are in a different time zone, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. All right. So, tell me, Ben, how did you get into the arts? So, you know, I understand you come from a long family of tradition of arts. Is that correct?
That is right. My father is a carpenter. He's done that his entire life, and he has some like amazing furniture pieces and wood carving and all that kind of stuff. My mother is kind of a Renaissance woman. She's got her fingers in all sorts of things, especially with cooking and crafts and sewing. She's a really amazing woman, and so I really kind of take after that, I believe, and kind of have an eye for aesthetics and kind of a controlling aspect, I think, as well, which is what a lot of artists tend to have.
Well, you're a controller. How's that?
Oh yeah, trying to take the world and change it in a way that fits me, and I think that's kind of what art is being able to take those materials and control them into a way that you find appealing.
Well, how are you looking to control the world?
I've noticed that there's, especially with the art that I do, I focus mainly on the male portrait, which is kind of the work that I've been doing a lot lately. And I see the way that the media treats men, the way that especially larger men are portrayed in the media, and I kind of don't think it's quite fair. So I wanted to really show image of men, big men, as people that are capable and smart, and so that's what I wanted to bring to the conversation.
So, you know, you have to give me some insight into that, because I didn't know there was such an issue. I mean, I don't think that a man's less intelligent based upon his size.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what you're saying?
Well, I'm glad that that's your perception. So I think that's a positive way of seeing it. But yeah, if you look at popular media, you have Kevin James, that kind of character. So where the larger man is always the butt of the joke, very insecure about himself. I'm sorry, I'm having a kitty come visit. Come on, get down.
Well, that's all right.
Sorry,
Kitties
running around.
Kitties are good. Go ahead.
Oh, that's right. But yeah, I see this kind of, I see that is a piece that is lacking in our culture, is seeing men as being capable. And so that's what I wanted to do, especially with the grooming series that I'm working on now. I wanted to show the idea of men taking control of their own image. And I think that is something that has been looked down upon, especially growing up in Texas, where if a man is considered fussy if he's doing his hair, or if he's making a stylistic choice that isn't within the norm. And I really wanted to challenge that in my work as well.
Well, now, do you get a lot of pushback from, I guess, the invisible sources about that type of work?
Not particularly. I think my message is subtle enough to where it kind of gets past people's defenses that way. I don't believe in being confrontational. I don't think that's what my art needs to be. So I try to keep the image really really gentle and kind of just showing a picture of what I think where the state should be without challenging what it is.
So how did you get into this point of view? When did this type of thinking show up in your psyche?
Well, I guess growing up, I had a lot of body image problems. I always felt like I was heavier than I should be. I felt a lot of shame about my size. And so I think now becoming an adult and into my own, that I've really kind of challenged what it was that made me feel that way, and what it is that I can do in my own way as an artist to kind of keep people from feeling that way as well.
Well, could you share with us what is that what was your feeling about yourself that you want to correct or change or enhance? What is that? What was that feeling?
Well, being told that you're not masculine enough, that you're not athletic enough, and being told that those are qualities that make you a man, that make you.
I see. Okay. So in other words, it's like you didn't fit into the Texas stereotype.
That's right.
So could you tell me, what is the Texas stereotype?
Well, I'm sure that there are several. Texas is a very big place with lots of different types of people that are here. But certainly one of the stereotypes would be the all-around athlete, the jock, so to speak.
Right.
And that I really bought into that as the ideal growing up, and the shame that came with not being able to achieve that was really.
So did you apply for the football team and stuff like that?
Say that again.
Did you play football and stuff like that?
I did not actually. I grew up figure skating.
Figure skating?
Oh yeah, and I got a lot of flack for that too.
You did?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's cool, man. Figure skating?
Oh yeah.
That's all that graceful stuff, man.
Yeah, and that was a big challenge because it was a sport that I really loved, and it was roller figure skating. So it was kind of
okay.
So very similar sport, just different apparatus. But yeah, and so my weight was always a real issue with that, and being told by my peers that being graceful wasn't manly, that that all the things that I wanted to pursue made me less valuable because it wasn't considered, manly.
So that requires a lot of.
So I think that really affected me, and to challenge that now that I'm adult and in my own.
That took a lot of courage, I would imagine, to persevere through that.
Mm-hmm.
So when did you start painting?
Well, in college, I had to take an elective. And one of the electives that I chose to take was a painting class. And I fell in love with it the second I walked into that classroom. And I only took the one painting class in college. But it taught me all the basics, rules of composition and fat over lean, that kind of thing. So kind of the basics of how to do it. And I just never stopped. I kept going. I didn't have any other formal education in art past that. But I was very motivated to learn on my own. So I went and was very active in my self-education to learn and to grow as an artist.
Now, are you an artist or you are a painter? Is there a difference between the two?
Not in my mind, no. There's lots of different type of art. The art that I do is very specific, but it's still art. And I know artists that are much more well-rounded than what I do, that can dabble into textiles and sculpting and graphics and that kind of thing, which I don't do. I'm very specific to painting. But yeah, I think a painter is an artist.
Okay, so you know why I'm asking that question, Ben? You don't know why. It's a trick question. I'm setting you up because, see, I'm an ex-painting contractor. and
Okay.
so my question is, you know, are we brothers of the same clan or what? I mean, you're a fine painter. Painting contractors paint walls. I mean, what you know, how do you see that working out? You know what I mean?
Oh, are you asking is painting walls art?
Yeah, right. Is that painting?
Right, right. Yeah, I think that kind of goes into, what is art, which is a
Yeah.
very tricky question.
I mean, because a guy comes to your house to paint the walls, right? So, like, you're a painter, he's a painter. Do we talk the same language? Almost, but not quite. Anyway, that's it's a sidebar thought I had. So, so now you've been painting. When did you start? Was that what year was that?
It's been about 10 years that I first started painting.
Do you have any particular influences, or are you just going for what you know?
Caravaggio, John Singer Sargent, those types of artists. I was really, from the very beginning, wanted to do portrait work. That's what interested me.
Really?
Oh yeah, I see a lot of still life. I saw a video of yours of a woman that does these beautiful pictures of flowers, which is just amazing. But that's not what interested me. I wanted to paint people, and from the very beginning, that's what I studied. That's what I learned, and the artists that did that well is the ones that I really were fans of.
And so, what is it about portraits that turn you on?
I'm kind of a people watcher anyway.
Okay.
And so the the curve of a lip, the way that an eyelash falls, it can tell a story just on its own, and I really like to be able to show who someone is through a painting of them.
Okay, so let's do that in a sec, but in the meantime, let's get over here. Oops. I wanted to go to my next section, but I can't do that. Huh. What's going on here? Oh, I know. Preview.
Technology is great. It works.
Yeah. Okay. So now here's what it is. We're now. I just want to share with the people, as in life, so as in art, so in life, and that's what one of our sponsors is about. It's the Academy of Composition.
Okay.
At the Academy of Composition is as in art, so in life, and I'm saying that because now we want to look at some of your images. And the image that we spoke about, or you spoke about, all right. This is one of your first, yes, this is the shaving image about grooming and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, yeah. This piece I entitled Cream. This is the first time that I incorporated shaving cream. I'd done a lot of shaving foam that I had painted before. But this is my latest finished piece. I finished it last week. The model is a good friend of mine. His name's Patrick, who was kind enough to model this for me. And I think it turned out really well. I was really happy with this composition.
So now this has a lot of. We can talk a lot about this piece, but I want to tie it back to what you said earlier about the eye, the lip. What message are you sending by crafting this person the way you have in terms of his eyes, his nose, and his lips? What are you saying?
So I set the light high coming down on him, and the way that the eye is slightly squinted looking up, I wanted kind of like a Nirvana type of moment, like kind of mimicking those old savior paintings of people being saved and finding the light of God, kind of that moment, but through the act of self-discovery through grooming. So I really wanted that kind of awe moment in this piece.
So if I understand what you're saying, the message here is like, aha, it's an aha moment, and I'm having an aha moment about myself through grooming. Is that what you're saying?
That is right.
Okay. All right. I see that. And this is oil paint?
This is acrylics, actually.
Okay. And now you did from life, or you did from a photograph?
I work from photograph because I don't hate my models.
Because you don't paint your models?
Yeah, asking somebody to sit for 5-6 hours at a time is really problematic, and I think I would have less volunteers if that's what I require.
That's true. So now, I noticed here that there's lather and there's a straight edge razor. Now,
yes,
is that still the style in Texas?
It is not. The style in Texas is kind of the Gillette shaving foam and a Bic razor.
You mean
so this is because really the tradition down here is that men don't care about the way that they look; that they just do the minimum possible. And so what I wanted to show is people that take a lot of care in the way that they are presenting themselves. And so the straight razor takes a lot of precision and a lot of careful consideration on how to use it, or you can hurt yourself.
Yeah, definitely, and a lot of trust.
Right.
Well, this is like, and the images we're going to touch on, they take me back. They're almost like Rockwell-esque, in the sense they're telling the story, and it just feels that way. You're documenting. This comes out of a period of time where men did that, where the barbers did use straight edge razors. And they don't do that anymore. It's like a lost art, it seems.
Mm-hmm.
So what was your friend's name? Patrick, you said?
Patrick, yes.
Yes, Patrick. And what does Patrick do? Is he, when he's not modeling for you?
He works for, I think he works in retail.
Okay.
Yeah. So he lives with his partner pretty nearby, and so I've been friends with them for since we moved back down to Texas. My husband and I lived in Chicago for about 4 years, and moved down.
How'd you like Chicago?
What was that?
How did you like Chicago?
Chicago was cold.
Tell me about it, man. I mean, I've never been to Chicago, but
I'm a Texas boy. Right. Yeah, -20 was something. That was difficult to deal with. It wasn't bad. We had some really good friends up there. The environment was quite welcoming, and I made a lot of good art up there. So
okay. But did you sell art up there? Where do you sell your work? How do you sell your work?
The majority of my business right now comes from commissions. So people will hire me to do a specific portrait for them.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So if that's the case, right? Well, how did you break into commission work?
Say that one more time.
I'm curious. How did you break into doing commission work portraits? How did that happen?
Well, it's word of mouth and by reputation. So know, you do a portrait for somebody, they show it to their friends, and then they ask you to do a portrait for them as well.
And now I'm going to ask you a very delicate question, and if you don't want to, you don't have to answer. But what do you charge for your work, for your portraits?
Typically, it depends on the composition itself, and on the size and the style. If you're wanting to do something that's hyper realistic, like Patrick here, it's going to be a bit more. If you're wanting multiple points of focus, like you have 4 children and you want all 4 of them in the piece, then that's going to add some additional price as well.
All right. So I guess if I wanted,
so it can range rather than realistic, and you want a single.
Right. So I guess I could look at maybe like $10,000 to $12,000 for one of your works, right?
That's a bit high. I think my my highest, which was a 48 by 60. That was for 15,000. But typically my work is much smaller than that, and I'll charge anywhere from 1,000 to 5,000 typically.
Okay, and take us through your average day and your work in your studio. I mean, do you have a schedule? How do you go about doing your work?
Well, I'll start off by brewing coffee.
Okay.
And then as my coffee, hold on, I gotta.
Well, wait, I want to do mine too, all right?
Cheers.
Yeah, right.
To art. Yeah, as the coffee's brewing, I will, my studio is set up to where I have all of my inspiration. I have an inspiration board, and I have, I find lots of smells really influence me.
Really?
So I'll find like candles or scents or something that really that speaks to the piece, and I'll light that, get the room smelling like the way that I want the piece to feel, and then I'll spend a good 4 or 5 minutes just staring at the work that I've done so far, and planning what I want to get done that day. And I may write down what I want done, especially at the end when the details are so fine that I might forget that I wanted to do something, and I might just write down the list of everything that I want to get done today.
You forget. I meant to make that correction. I forgot to do it. I didn't put it down.
Oh yeah.
Right. That's true. That's true. So I'm curious now. Are you saying that it sounds like to me that you're creating a mood for a particular energy to be present in your workspace by doing the candles? Is that what you're saying?
Definitely. And that.
Hello?
That mood will change depending on the piece.
Depending upon
if I want something that's really frantic, I'll put up a bunch.
Can you hear me, Ben?
Yeah.
Okay, because we're having an in and out phase out here. Okay. That sounds exciting. It says in 10 minutes. There you go. All right. So that's interesting, because a lot of people have they have their own ways of going about the work, getting into the work.
Oh yeah. Because I really want to take my space and make it feel like the painting itself, to where I'm creating the painting like in a feeling that I'm in the painting, if that makes any sense.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think that's so, I don't want to trivialize by saying organic, but it's so real, because that's what we want. We want you to be in the painting. We want your soul, your spirit to always be there with us.
Oh, exactly.
You know. Let's take a look at another piece. This is another piece, or is it a close-up of the one we saw before?
No, this is Lather. It's actually a self-portrait, so that's me.
And so what, okay, why did you do lather? Why did you do that?
Why did I do a self-portrait?
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to have because this is a collection that represents my feeling about myself and about my community. So I wanted myself to be in it. Also, the bubbles I found really interesting visually and also conceptually. Kind of the idea that the lather itself is its own entity, but it's translucent to where you can see what's underneath it. And I think that art is that way as well. That it is its own thing. That it reflects its own light, but it shows. But it is translucent, and it shows the concepts in society that it's representing.
That's really great. You know, I just noticing that we have only a few more minutes to go. So I'm getting signals from my producer that we have only about 7 more minutes to go. So
okay.
Let me just go on to the next one. All right, this is the same thing again, the straight edge razor.
That's right. Right.
So now this piece, right? This like it's like old school. It's like around, for me, around 1800s, 1900s. Is that the feeling you're trying to create here?
Well, the look that certainly that inspired this type of look, but it is very modern. This type of steampunk, very vintage look with the handlebar mustache and the jacket and that kind of thing. But like the tattoos and the piercings, I think that's a really modern take on these.
Yeah, right. That's what I was going to say. It's like you have the old school, but then you have the new thing with the tattoos and the ear piercing.
That's right. That's right. And you also look back to the way men treated themselves at that time period, to where it wasn't unexpected to spend a day pampering yourself, just going and having a massage and having a shave and a haircut and just spending an entire day at a salon for a man wasn't a big issue.
Well, now I didn't know that. Could you give me some more information on that? I mean, you're saying around the turn of the century, the last century, men would go to the salon barbershops and, you know.
It would be an all day thing, and there would be men's club would provide this service. You could there's lots of barber societies. You would go and you would show up in the morning and you would leave that afternoon, and that would be your day, is having a day of pampering, and that's just not something that men do anymore.
Yeah.
I think that's I think it would be a day of relaxation and kind of self-focus is important.
Now, is that where the barbershop quartets come from?
It is, yes. So they would be the entertainment while you're letting your feet soak.
Oh, okay, all right. I never knew that, but just, as you said it, I said, well, maybe that's where it came from. That's great. All right, so once again, this is one of the pieces that reminds me of the type of Rockwell type stuff, getting down with the people.
Oh yeah. Well, thank you. That's an excellent comparison. I feel that.
Yeah. Okay, here's another guy. Now, this piece here makes me. It's like I had mixed feelings about this piece. But tell me what your feeling is, and I'll tell you what mine was.
Okay. I wanted to the people that model for this are actually a couple, some friends of ours, and I had a really good time doing the photo shoot that led to this piece. Um, but yeah, I really wanted to have like the careful consideration of the barber, that he just looks so friendly and looking down at his client, so with some reverence and care, and then having that kind of having the juxtaposition with the client that's like, not quite in trust of his precious beard being trimmed, if that makes sense.
Well, yeah, I see, like this, when I first saw it, I said, my God, the guy's strangling this guy.
No. But no, it's subtle, but you can see those little scissors in the corner, and I wanted the actual scissors to be minimalized and be kind of fall into the background, so to speak.
I had to look, and I love his tattoo. This tattoo is so great, man.
Yeah, checkerboard.
Yeah.
The checkerboard pattern was pretty cool. He's also got a nose ring. It's a really cool look.
And how long did it take you to do this piece?
That one probably took about 6 weeks from start to finish.
And this is a commission piece or just a pleasure piece?
Oh no, that is part of my grooming collection.
Okay. And do you plan to sell the collection? Do you gonna exhibit it someplace?
Yes, I do have. I've shown select pieces in some galleries already, and I have. I'm in works with a gallery in North Fortune Hills, Texas, to be showing there sometime soon, probably early next year.
Okay. You know what I'd like to do is say thank you for coming on. Right, hold tight. Tell us how we can get in contact with you, please.
Well, my website is lester-art.com. Also, you can find me on Facebook. It's Benjamin with an E at the end, Lester.
Yes. Benjamine.
That's right, Benjamin.
Right. Well, now, Benjamin, thanks for being on the show. And don't go away. I want to do a part 2. So just hold tight. We have to clear this with our producer here, but we'll be right back in a minute. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being with us, and we'll see you next time, which will be in a few secs. Peace out.